Alright, so another video for Wusik Station, and this time I'm going to try to keep it simple. Like, it's the first time you load the product and you want to play some sounds that you already own. So the first thing, you can see the interface here. Be sure that the tree view here on the right is open. Otherwise there is a small button here to open, but by default it should be open. You just click on browser options here at the top. I'm going to select manage extra folders. And I'm going to check if your folder is not already there, because on the installer there is an option to select a custom folder. On this case, my samples folder is not here. I have a samples folder from stuff that I purchased from other companies that not part of Wusik Station. So I have select my samples folder here. So there you go, my samples, save. Now it's going to show here at the bottom, and I can start loading some of the sounds. So I just select one sound I'm going to play on the keyboard. It's a loop. So it's just simple as that. And just to be sure, select the initial sample player preset before you start, in case it hasn't already started with that. Let's say you're using a standalone mode and it remembers what's the last patch you were in. So you just select initial sample player. It's going to load a sine waveform, and you just select any sound from here on the right, and it's going to overwrite the sounds. So let's see here, wave samples. I have some other samples here. Where are my Japan audio CD? You just select a sound and it's going to load right away. And now you want to mess around with the sound a bit. So let me load something more useful, because this is not very good to play around. Let me check my other sounds in here. Let me see here, toolbox, synth hits. Nah, that's not good. Okay, this one, I like this one. It's already tuning to C. The name itself already says. So I can adjust the amplitude envelope here. If you're not familiar with graphical envelopes, you can click anywhere without moving and select ADSR mode. And this is more easier to use, just to start up. So you have the sustain point and the release. So here I have my volume, panning, the semi-tuning, fine-tuning. I can double-click on a parameter and put the values there. I have my high quality mode. It's going to oversample the sound internally. Usually it's not required, just when you're playing with very raw sounds at very high notes, starts to aliasing. But by default, I'm already using a very good code as a parameter interpolation. I think that's the right way to say it. But if you start here some artifacts, sorry, you can click on high quality. So I have my 16 voids, pitch bend is 12 seminotes. No, 12 notes actually. No, 12 seminotes, I think. It's one full octave, so it's 12 notes. MIDI channel is omni, so it's going to play on any channel. The monophonic I'm not going to bother because I'm playing on polyphonic now. And I have my key zone and a velocity zone. So if I want two sounds to play in different areas of the keyboard, I can use this to split the sound. You can right click and select learn. No, not here. It doesn't have this option. It's Eve that has this option. But you can just screw and select or double click and put the value there. Oops. So I'm going to put 127 because I want the whole keyboard to play. Then I have my audio input I'm not using. Unison is going to take all the 16 note voices and play with different slight fine tuning for each voice. Let's try that. But when you select Unison, it's going to be a single voice. It's going to be monophonic, but use all the 16 voices to play. I don't know. I don't want that. And here on my envelope, I have the time of the envelope, which is going to be multiplied by the values I select here. Velocity is going to be response to velocity, linear or exponential. Key track and velocity track, those are things that are more useful when you have a lot of piano sounds that you want to make it different. Let's say I have my sustain to 0 and my decay here. This sample is already very low on my keyboard. But I want the higher notes to cut out very fast. So I'm going to use the keyboard track. You can see now the higher notes are cutting fast, but also the lower notes, because it's using the key zones to determine that. So I have to determine where the zone starts and ends to use that. So it's a bit complicated if you never used that before. It takes some playing around with it to get some results. The filter, well, the filter, if you never play a filter, I have my low pass filter, so it's going just going to cut the sound. I think there's something else. I see. No, there's nothing else. Then on the waveform, there's a bunch of features that are more advanced, so I'm not going to cover everything on this short video. But one thing that I like to use is the dual oscillator, because it's going to use two voices for each voice that is playing. I can just fine tune it a bit. It adds a kind of chorus effect. And to finalize, I'm not going to mess with the modulations here. I'm going to leave it out for now. I'm just going to insert an effect for this layer, which is going to be the stereo delay. Oh, there you go, just something very simple. Here on the master, you also have a master volume. So it's something just simple to use. And if you want to load another sound to play along with this sound, you can do that. You can either select next to new layer. It's going to select this next sound from the list here. And now you can click here and you're going to see you have layer 1 and layer 2. And they're going to play together now. And you can even crossfade from one another using the morph option. Use the fade option. And the waveform here, this knob is going to And if you want to replace the sound of any of the layers, just be sure that you have the layer selected and go here and select another sound. It's going to replace just that layer. I'm going to transpose this layer 12 notes up. And you can see that there's some other options in here for this layer. So I can even set zones for just this layer inside this other layer. So it's a layer inside a layer because I can have multiple layers here, and each layer is going to have whatever selected, because you can have, let's see here, the sample layer, the wave sequencer layer, 3 oscillator layer, super oscillator layer, draw wave oscillator layer, and the audio looper layer. So we have all these options. And now, in this case, the sample player has its own layer selection, so you can even split the sounds here inside this layer and create some very complex patches. But if you don't want, you can just ignore that and keep things a bit simpler. And so let me check these guys here. I have key velocity to sample start. This is kind of good for piano sounds. So let's see here. Key velocity to sample start. So you can see that I disable velocity here on the envelope, so no velocity anymore. And I put the starting point of my sample very forward and use the velocity to sample start. So now as I play low on this sample, it's a very handy feature. We're going to mix the two layers now. I'm playing softly. We'll cut off the piano a bit. Well, that's it for this video. It's just a simple thing. I'm not going to go too deep on this one, just to give an idea how to start using sounds and things like that. Then on another video, can talk about grain synthesis, granular synthesis actually. What else? There's other options in here. Modulation wheel to layer selection. That's also another neat one. I can go here to the multiply selection. So now it's going to play both. But Now my modulation. Modulation wheel is now selecting which layer to play. Layer key switching. Oh, this is a great one. When you select that, you can see that it says there, starts on note 36. So let me see where is that on my keyboard. Okay, I found it. So the note 36 is where it starts playing. So notes, any notes before that is going to select the layer. So if I press my C, middle C on my keyboard, select the piano. In the next note, C sharp, selects the ghost pad. So it's very handy. You can have multiple layers of sounds and select from the key switching. And what's the R again? Round robin to layer selection. So when I select these, each note I press is going to go to the next layer in a circular round robin way. It's another way to play the layers. And I think that's it. I think already went too far with the video. It was supposed to be short, and it's no long short. But that's okay. Just let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.